Thank you. 6 years ago when the Americans beat Canada for gold in Helsinki, most believe it was ushering in a new era of dominant U.S. hockey, that they would be Canada's chief arch rival. Hasn't turned out that way. As Canada was winning 5 straight gold medals, the U.S. only won 1 measly bronze. So now that they're back in the big one, they're not just hungry, they're starving. Jermaine Franklin has more.
Team USA is still waiting to receive the great Western hospitality the Canadian prairies are famous for.
We definitely don't got any favorites from the home crowd of Canada.
They were booed and cheered against every game they played in Saskatoon. It's just the nature of the rivalry. Now the U.S. has earned the perfect opportunity to return the favor, ending Canada's reign while winning gold at the same time.
We want to be the aggressors out there. We don't want to let the crowd intimidate us, and them going for their 6th straight intimidate us either. Tomorrow night's going to be us against however many people they can fit in that building, and then versus a great 22 guys over in the other locker room in Canada. So it's going to be a great war, and I think everyone's really excited.
The United States has lost 6 straight games to Canada at the World Juniors, including 2 New Year's Eve contests that were labeled instant classics.
It's on now. It's on big time.
To our southern neighbors, they are heartbreaking defeats. Both games, the U.S. had victory within their grasp and let it slip away.
That New Year's Eve game was, I think it was a bit of a shock for us. We thought we played a great game and just kind of fell apart there in the last 10 minutes. But I think these 2 teams are absolutely, evenly matched. We have a lot of grit in our locker room and a lot of determination, and I think we want it just as bad as the Canadians do.
The Americans have had the tougher road to the final. They believe they're battle-tested and proved that Sunday night with a win over the Swedes, who are considered by many to be the most talented team in the tournament.
Having to face Finland and then Sweden in the semis, those are 2 hard teams to play against, and we've overcome some things as a team, and we're here in the finals.
In his 3rd year in the World Junior Tournament, Jordan Schrader became the American all-time leading scorer, surpassing Jeremy Roenick, which is quite the accomplishment. Schrader never won a medal, that is until now. Since he's in the final, that is a guarantee. And Schrader said it would be a dream come true if that medal was a gold. Jermaine Franklin, TSN, Saskatoon.
Back again with Bob and Pierre. If there was one noticeable difference between the 2 teams on New Year's Eve, it was speed. The Americans just look faster. How does Canada cope with that in the gold medal game?
If you're drawing up a game plan on how to take speed elements out of a game, the number one thing you focus on is angling. So it's going to be very important for Canada to angle well in the neutral zone. Run them into the boards, take away their space. That's number 1. Number 2, dominate the face-off circle. Usually there's between 60 and 80 face-offs in a game. Be over 50%. Force the Americans to chase you more than you chase them. And I think the third thing that's really important is open ice hitting and hitting in general. If you hit well and identify the right targets, you'll be successful. For the Americans, Derek Steppen's been spectacular all tournament long. He's been their best player. You have to make sure you take him away from what he does well, and that is dominate the puck. So take away his space. And then you have to look at the 2 defensemen, Matty Donovan and John Carlson. They love to jump in the rush. They like to push the pace of the game. But the key burner right now for the Americans is Jerry D'Amigo. The last 2 games, he's scored 2 goals in each of those games. He was a gigantic difference maker against Sweden. The Canadians, if they're going to be successful, have to identify the right people and make sure they don't have a comfortable evening.
Speed is something tangible we all notice, but perhaps is there something less noticeable that has gone into the American success in this tournament?
Well, absolutely. The American program has really evolved, and this is a mentally tougher group. I remember back the 1995 World Juniors in Red Deer, head coach Jeff Jackson for the U.S. team complained, how can I beat Canada when I've got guys who want to be Canada? He thought he had some major junior guys in his roster who had a strong case of Maple Leaf envy, would have rather been playing for Canada than the United States. Fast forward to now, they don't have any Maple Leaf envy at all. In fact, it's quite the opposite. But if you want to beat Canada, there is something to be said for being a little like Canada. And what this U.S. program has done now is take a page out of the Canadian book, and that is have a final evaluation camp in mid-December where the team is not set. The players are still trying out for it. They had cuts for the first time ever in their mid-December camp. And Dean Blaze said that's a huge difference and why this team is so much mentally tougher, physically tougher, and has a layer of outer skin built up. They did not collapse after the New Year's Eve debacle this year the way they did last year, and that's the big difference between this year's team and last year's team.
One thing Canada really has to focus on going into this game, live legs. They did not have live legs when they went into their game against Switzerland. They had a very difficult practice before that game. You could see see there was some fatigue and some nerves. They got to have some live legs going in the final.
Goaltending decision for the U.S.?
Easy. Mike Lee's won back-to-back elimination games. He's their starter.
So Mike Lee will be trying to snap a couple of streaks. Canada's 5 straight gold medals and a 6-game winning streak Canada has over the U.S. coming into this one.